Welcome to the Roofing Success Podcast. I'm Jim Aline, and I'm here to bring you insights from top leaders in the roofing industry to help you grow and scale your roofing business. I found the biggest gap in your business that is costing you potentially millions of dollars. It is the most overlooked item in the customer journey, and it is the call process, the intake lead process, the speed to lead. My name is Jim Aline. I'm the host of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you're new, thanks for watching. If you are an existing, a longtime listener, we're going to do something a little bit different today. I really have been focused on the customer journey for many, many years now and helping my companies and other companies create an exceptional customer experience. And the one gap that I keep seeing is the customer intake, is the appointment set, is the speed to lead. What we're going to do today is more educational than we really usually do on this podcast. Usually I'm interviewing someone on how they found success. Today, this is an actionable presentation that you can use and implement in your business to take your business to the next level. This is the start of what we're calling the Roofing Success Insider. The Roofing Success Insider is where we created a new community on the School platform. That's SKOOL, and I'll show you that in a minute here. But this is a place where we want to take the listeners and the fans of this show and the guests on this show, and we want to create a community for everyone to be involved in, everyone to share what they're doing, what's going on in their business. We're going to have trainings like this on an ongoing basis. I'm going to get some of the amazing guests that we've had to take the things that they talked about on the show of how they created their sales process, or how they created their hiring process or their production process, or whatever it may be. And we're going to take that and bring it into that school community for you guys to learn and enhance your business further beyond just the conversations that we have on the podcast. So I'm really happy to have you along that journey with me. And check the link in the description and click on it. Sign up for our school community. We really appreciate it. It's a free community. There will be some paid options and access where we do live group coaching calls and things like that. But join the school community. Join for free. Get involved in the conversation, and let's continue to become more successful, right? And that's the theme of the show. And so now today, one of the things that we struggled with when we had Roofer Marketers, which is now Job Nimbus Marketing, is that, we would generate leads for companies, and they would come back to us and they're like, man, Jim, something's not working. These, the leads aren't good, or we're not getting the leads we thought we were going to get. And a lot of times I would get into their CRM, I'd get access to their Job Nimbus, and I'd look in their Job Nimbus, and I'd look in their Contractor Boost AI account, which was our lead management system, and I'd start matching things up, and I'd look at their call tracking, and I'd notice like there was a lot of missed calls. And then I'd look at their lead forms, and I would look at the response time to the lead forms, and a lot of them were not even responded to. And man, it's a very challenging thing to accomplish, right? You're focused on the sales, you're focused on production, you're focused on your team and managing the team. A lot of times we're outsourcing our marketing efforts to agencies like Job Nimbus Marketing or Hook Agency or something like that, and we're expecting them to kind of handle that. But there's this gap in the middle that gets created. And it's the biggest lever that you can pull in your business. And I want to show you why today. So that's why we're talking about today is, missed leads equals missed millions. And if you fix the first 5 minutes of your intake process, if you don't fix that first 5 minutes, you're going to fall behind. You're going to fall behind. And we'll get to that, right? There's a strong stigma in the contracting space that, contractors don't answer their phone. Hey, if you go to Google and type in roofing company, city, state, or near me, and you start calling down that list, a lot of those people won't answer. A lot of people, it'll go to voicemail. A lot of times you could go to their websites, fill out a form. You'll never hear anything from them, ever. So at Roofer Marketers and Job MS Marketing, we pulled the data. We're like, what's going on here, man? Like, what's the actual data? And what the actual data was that 40% of the leads that were generated for our clients went unanswered. The calls went unanswered, or the leads were not responded to. This is a huge opportunity, right? You fix that, your booking rate goes up, your sales closing rate goes up, everything goes up. Your top line and hopefully your bottom line revenue goes up from just focusing in on this one thing. So the modern reality, right, is a homeowner that has a problem is not going to wait. They are highly impatient. They're seeking quotes. They want an answer now. We got trained. We got trained on that easy button. We got trained by Amazon that click here and you get it the next day, right? Like the friction in the sales process has been reduced by such a great amount in so many industries. I mean, you could buy a car online, there's so many things that there's no friction in the sales process anymore. So we expect it. It is an expectation in today's environment that we get responded to very quickly, instantaneously. So a statistic is 78% of customers buy from the first company that they have contact with. The first company, 78%. So if that person is calling through that list on Google or wherever they're finding you, the first company that responds has a 78% chance of getting that business. That's insane, right? And so I have some links in here. That was an MIT study and a lead response management.org study. So this was really studied and looked at. And so I want you to understand that there is an immense opportunity in optimizing this. You will squeeze more juice, I believe, out of optimizing this than optimizing your sales closing rate, because you'll have more opportunities to close. So in today's environment, you're not only competing against other contractors, you are competing against the clock. If you're listening to this, and you're like, Jim, I want to see what you're talking about, make sure you pop over to our YouTube channel. You can watch it. We got, I have some slides that go along with this so that you can kind of follow along there. So if you get a chance, pop over to the YouTube channel. If you're listening in your truck and driving, keep on listening. But if not, check out the YouTube channel if you're not watching there. This is the core piece to this, guys. It's the critical 5-minute window. And if you've been to the webinars that I've done over the years or any of the events that I've spoken at, there's a lot of times that I've spoken about this. They call it the conversion cliff. The conversion cliff is after 5 minutes. The odds of qualifying a lead drop by 80% at 5 minutes. So what I mean by that, it's not that you have a lower chance of closing them. You have an 80% less chance of essentially ever getting a hold of them. Let's do the math on that a little bit. Let's say that the average Google Ads lead in a major US market is $300, right? Let's make my math easier. Call it $250. You get 4 leads, it's going to cost you $1,000. If you don't reach out to them in 5 minutes, you just burned $800. My math might be off. Comment in the, drop a comment if my math is up on that. But essentially, you're burning 80% of your money if you're not responding within 5 minutes. You have an 80% less chance of ever getting a hold of that person. That was the Harvard Business Review study. There was another MIT lead response management study that says you're 100 times more likely to reach a lead if you call within the first 5 minutes versus the first 30 minutes. Or versus waiting 30 minutes. 100 times more likely to reach a lead if you call within that first 5 minutes. This is an absolute must in your business. This isn't a maybe. This isn't a we should. 100 times more likely to reach a lead if you call within the first 5 minutes. So one of the most successful traits of a CEO or not a business owner or high-level executive or manager is self-awareness. I want you guys to really reflect. Are you responding to every opportunity that comes your way in 5 minutes or less? I would assume the answer is no. And so we really, really have to focus on this. Now, I've heard before, I've had conversations with people and they're like, yeah, Jim, but we're all referral based. I'll give that to you. If someone calls you from a referral, I would assume that they're likely to give you a little grace on that 5 minutes, right? They'll probably give you a little grace on that 5 minutes because they have a level of trust that's already built. But if they have a need now, they're not going to wait, right? They're going to call another friend and ask for a different referral, or they're going to move on to Google and start Googling other companies, or they're going to go to ChatGPT or Gemini or something like that, and they're going to look for another company. Be the first. Be first. Be responsive within the first 5 minutes. Now, the gold standard is responding within 60 seconds. Within 60 seconds, you can increase your conversion rate by 391% based on this Philosophy lead manager data study. 391%. You can increase your conversion rate 60 seconds. The second that person hits submit on your website, clock starts, man. Clock starts. And so you really have to be on it and be available. What kind of experience would that create? Before we carry on with the episode, let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors. Roofers, let's get real. You're great at building roofs, but are you great at building a steady stream of leads? That's where Job Nimbus Marketing comes in. They know the roofing industry inside and out, and they'll help you dominate Google, Facebook, reputation management, and everything in between. If you want more quality leads, more booked jobs, and more growth, visit the link in the description or the sponsors page on the Roofing Success Podcast website. What kind of experience would that create for your customer? Right? The system that we built out at Job Nimbus Marketing and roof, before that Roofer Marketers through Contractor Boost AI, a lead came in. As soon as someone hit submit on the web form, they moved on to a thank you page. Hey, thanks for calling. Here's some more information about us. Here's what to expect. Someone will be calling you now. And so what would happen is we would initiate a phone call on the second I click submit. It hit the system and initiated a phone call. There were many times that people picked up the phone and they were still on the thank you page of the website. There are many call recordings that I've listened to where people are like, "Oh my goodness, that was fast. I'm still on your website. I haven't even moved on." They're still at their desk. They're still on their phone. They're looking at your company still. What kind of impression does that make? It will increase your conversion rates by 391%. So think about that, right? There's a gap in the market. The average response time is 42 to 47 hours. 42 to 47 hours. All of that data I just talked about, 100 times more likely, 391% conversion rate. This is why buyers today are impatient. There is an easy button. It's too easy to get information these days, right? So we need to be on top of it. We need to stay on top of it. Another part of it is the 40% is the ghost factor. 40% of roofing and home service leads go to the first contractor to respond because the rest simply never call back. So not only do 78% go with the first person they contact, but it's because most of the other people that they ever contact even if they do contact more people, they never call back. They never call back. So the opportunity is to become part of the 7%, right? Only 7% of companies respond within the first 5 minutes. 7%. So now, how can you differentiate yourself in your marketplace? This is a question that I get all the time. How can we differentiate ourselves? We all sell the same thing. It's a very commoditized business, on and on and on. This is how you separate yourself. Only 7% of companies respond within the first 5 minutes. And I would assume that it may be 1% that respond in 60 seconds. So become one of the 1%. Become one of the 1% and respond within the first 60 seconds. The bottom line revenue impact of this is going to be insane for your business. It's really going to be insane. Contractors who shorten the speed to lead gap typically see a 26 to 36% increase in total revenue. Jim, how do I get from 2 million to 2.5 million? Well, you answer your phone faster, right? Like, answer your phone and respond to leads faster. You go from 2 million to 2.5 million. You go from 5 to 6 million. You go from 10 to 12.5. Right? You go from 10 to 12.5 to 13.5, right? It's crazy. So improving response times from 20% to 80% can quadruple your appointments from the same lead volume. That was from the company Hatch, the automation company, in 2024. Improving response rates times, again, listen to this, from 20% to 80%, right? It's going to quadruple your appointments from the same lead flow. So if you got one out of, it's just fascinating. It blows my mind how people don't focus on this. And this is what I'm saying. These are those levers, man. There's a lot of leverage here. There's a lot of leverage. So solution number one, right? We're going to immediately respond. We're going to create an immediate response automation. You do this through many different systems, whatever, depending on the systems that you use. But you can trigger an instant text message every time a web form comes in. It doesn't even have to be as fancy as the phone calls and things like that. Like, if you just set up an automation in whatever software you have, and look at Job Nimbus, look at Callflow Pro AI, by the Day 41 Thrive, who sponsors this. Job Nimbus is a sponsor of the podcast. Like, there's a lot of ways to get this done. There are CRMs in the space like ProLine that do this. There's all kinds of options to get this handled. You can trigger an instant text for every web form. Texting has a 98% open rate compared to 20% for email. Now, I like to send both. We actually generate the phone call. This is in our business, in our in the roofing business that I'm a part of, and in every roofing business that we work with on the marketing side, when that lead comes in from a form, phone call gets generated. If the phone call isn't answered, a text message and email go out instantly. That's the initial, let's go. You could set up missed call text backs, right? So if your team misses a call, they get a text immediately. Hey, call you back in just a second. Our team is busy. I'll be right there. Just that alone could pause someone long enough to not call the next company, because that's really what we're doing. That's really what we're doing is trying to stop them from calling the next company based on our speed to lead. You can use AI call and text systems. JobNimbus, JobNimbus Marketing has a product for AI voice and AI chat. High Level, Go High Level does. I think Proline has something built in now, AI agents. There's all kinds of places that you can bridge this gap to create these automations.
I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. I talk to contractors every day that feel stuck. Not because they're not working hard, but because they're missing the structure to growth without chaos. Or their culture's falling apart because their team's unclear, unaligned, or just burned out. And when change hits, they're reacting instead of leading because time and priorities aren't under their control. Day 41 Thrive helps to fix that with proven strategies for growth, culture, and leadership that actually work. Ready to thrive beyond the storm? Visit the link in the description or visit the Roofing Success Podcast website on the sponsors page to start your journey today.
Bridge this gap to create these automations. AI text and voice is fantastic. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I love AI. I like AI chat better than I like AI voice currently, just so you guys know. So let's talk about it in terms of the solution to, right? 24/7 intake and scheduling. So the consumer has an expectation. 82% of consumers expect a response within 10 minutes for sales-related questions. That was a HubSpot Consumer Trends report. They expect a response within 10 minutes. 5 minutes or less, you're going to get a greater response. 60 seconds or less, you're going to get the best response. Having managed live chat. So like in JobNimbus, with JobNimbus's marketing product, you have an AI chat, right? AI voice for overflow. So AI voice, I like to use in overflow, inbound calls, overflow, and after hours, right? I like AI voice because AI voice is better than a voicemail. AI chat, I like better than currently. Today is, we're recording this. This will probably go out early February. I'm recording it at the end of January. As of today, because times change quickly, but as of today, I like AI chat built into this 24/7 intake and scheduling process. The reason I like AI chat versus AI voice has two issues still. It has latency issues and turn recognition issues. Latency is the long pauses, the long awkward pauses. Turn recognition is it doesn't know when to start. It doesn't have the perfect sense of when to start and stop talking like a human would. When we're talking to each other, we have turn recognition. We know when it's our turn to talk. Now, some people, get a little excited and butt in, but with AI chat, you don't. So it's not awkward, because if someone doesn't text you back for a few seconds, you don't feel the same way as if you're talking to someone and they don't respond. If someone doesn't respond to you in a voice interaction, you're like, this got really awkward. But in a chat interaction, if you get a response back 5 seconds later or 10, it's okay, right? It doesn't feel as awkward. So that's why I like that. Self-scheduling, right? Allow homeowners to book inspections directly via your website using tools like Calendly, CallFlow Pro, Contractor Boost AI, all of these softwares that will allow. A simple one is like Calendly. It's just a calendar booking software, and you set that up, and you would probably have to use Zapier or something like that to connect it into your CRM and do some stuff like that. CallFlow Pro and Contractor Boost AI will integrate with your CRMs. Again, there's probably some CRMs that have calendar booking systems already built into them, so you can use those. But that's what you want. You can give people the opportunity to just book on your calendar, right? Like, so now imagine this. It's 8 p.m. I just got the kids to bed. Like, oh man, I got to reach out to a roofing company. No one's probably going to answer because it's late. Let me fill out the form on their website. I fill out the form on their website. I press submit. Within 60 seconds, I get a text message. Hey, Jim, saw you filled out a form on our website. Are you looking to get a repair or replacement inspection scheduled? We call that a SPEAR email or SPEAR message. Specific, personal, expecting a response. So, hey, Jim, right? Personal, specific, expecting a response. Are you looking to get a repair or replacement inspection scheduled? I'm expecting a response. I want them to respond. Now they respond. I'm looking, I think I need a repair. Great, right? And now you can start either a human interaction. You can also have, after hours call centers, things like that set up for this too. But human call centers and human people working on this after hours. But you can have an AI, a chat AI that does this for you too, like Job Nimbus Marketing. And so now you're using your chat, and the chat is communicating and says, all right, great. Here's a link to our repair inspection calendar. Find a time that you can find a time that works for you, or we could call you tomorrow to schedule it. Which would you like? And then they respond, I'll just schedule it on the calendar. Booked. Great. All right. Awesome. Right. So now they feel like their problem is solved. Self-scheduling. Now that we have people booked on the calendar, or in some cases, you don't have an inside sales team or an inside salesperson or a CSR or a call center or something like that. So a couple ideas for you there is using a Shark Tank method or the best closer method, right? So you have a couple of ways to do it. Let's say you don't have someone that is in charge of answering the phone all the time at your company. Let it ring to a lot of people. It's the Shark Tank method here. Notify all your, send it to, all three of your sales reps at once. And the first one that gets it wins it, right? So it's a little bit competitive. You're making a game out of it. And whoever gets to, the first person to get to it gets that lead. So you're creating an urgency in your team to get to that lead. So that's an idea for you. Best closer. I like this more when you have someone in the office. I like, if, especially when you're doing paid ads, right? Google ads, Facebook ads, things like that. When you're spending a lot of money on marketing, I want to make sure I have the best close rate on that marketing dollars. So leads could be distributed based on who's best at closing, and who's best at closing maybe that specific lead source also. So working it out that way. Or, another thing that we do is book cable guy method. So a lot of companies I hear, hey man, I don't know all my sales guys' calendars. They're 1099. I don't have control of their calendars. I don't know when it is. Well, book sales guy method. We talked. Adam Bensman and I talked about this, I think, on the third Roofing Success podcast. So go back to 2019. It still works today. Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, we book in the mornings and afternoons. Are you available? Is morning or afternoon better for you? Great. Morning, awesome. What morning this week will work for you? We have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday open. Which one works best for you? Awesome. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, we booked you for Friday morning. One of our sales reps is going to give you a call and tell you the exact time that they're going to be there. They're going to call you the day before, and they're going to confirm with you all of your information. And now the lead goes to that sales rep. It gets assigned to the sales rep that's available during that time. And they get and that sales rep goes out. And that's because we'll get into this in a little bit, but it's speed to quote, right? We want to get speed to quote in place. If you don't have a CRM right now in your business, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, it's 2026. But sales increase by 29% on average when companies properly implement a CRM to track all of this stuff, right? To track all of their lead flow and manage their sales pipelines and sales calendars. I want you to start taking accountability. I want you to start tracking the time to first call as a primary KPI for your CSR team, for your call intake team, for your office team, whoever is in charge of answering that phone. Time to first call is going to be a primary KPI that you want to have. If you're running EOS, that goes on the scorecard, right? Whatever you're doing in your business, however you're, structured your meetings or whatever, that time to first call is a primary KPI that you're tracking. And the goal is less than 60 seconds. So that's optimizing lead distribution, right? The next thing we want to optimize, like I mentioned, is speed to quote. So, making sure you are set up to pull aerial measurements, whether you're using, Roofar, or if you're using Eagle View, or whatever, if you have Hover, whatever your guys are doing, and make sure that integrates in so that you could create, like a sumo quote very quickly. You could create your proposal extremely quickly. Right? So you get your inspection done, you get your photos in, you get everything, boom, 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 a couple of clicks. Maybe it takes the time to get the aerial measurements back, however that is, or if you're doing roof link and drawing or whatever you're doing, right? Like, get that quote in front of that customer as fast as possible. Digital signatures, right? So have measurements ready before the meeting if possible, right? On-site proposals, I know there's an expense to that. There's a cost to that. You'll have to measure, kind of track that and see, your close rate versus how many you have to run and things like that. But on-site proposals, digital signatures on quotes can improve close rates by 30 to 40%, right? So just reducing friction is what we're doing, reducing friction in the process. So, all right, here's a summary, right? The old way, the initial contact was manual. It took hours. Sometimes it took a day. I've told the story on the podcast many times where I reached out to a gutter contract and he called me back 28 days later. Don't be that guy, right? Instant SMS, instant phone call, email, phone call, and SMS goes out to them instantly, right now, within 60 seconds or in less than 60 seconds. After hours used to be voicemail, right? Now you have 24/7 live chat, AI involved in that. You could have an after hours call center. I mean, it costs you for like Answer Connect or Ruby. I mean, it's $300 to $700 a month. You could go to Voice AI now, Chat AI. There's so many options out there that have a minimal cost to your business, but can have such a great effect. Scheduling used to take 4 or 5 phone calls. Hey, I got to call this person, then I'll call you back. And then that. Now an instant booking link, your sales reps' calendars are tied to the calendar and people book on there and it goes directly onto their calendar, however you like to do it. The technology is there. We need to use it. In estimating, it used to be, hey, all right, this is great.
I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. If you and your team aren't trained on AI yet, you're already falling behind. Competitors using AI are generating more leads, closing jobs faster, and running leaner. The AI roofing revolution gives your team the training to implement AI so you stay ahead, not scramble to catch up. Don't wait until you're losing. Get trained now at the link in the description or the sponsors page of the Roofing Success Podcast website.
In estimating, it used to be, hey, all right, this is great. It's great to meet you. You do have a problem. I'm going to get this estimate back to you tomorrow, maybe the next day, possibly by Friday or whatever it was, right? Now a digital quote on site will improve that speed to lead, your close rate dramatically. Dramatically. So let's move on to the next steps. We got to stop the leaks that you have in your business currently. Your sales process shouldn't have more leaks than the roofs you fix, right? Your call intake process, your appointment booking process. So the first thing you're going to do is audit your speed, right? We're going to fill out your website form, see how long it takes to get a response. You're going to make a commitment to the 5-minute rule for the next 30 days, for the next 90 days. Accept the challenge of getting that response time down to 5 minutes or less. And it's non-negotiable. That is a non-negotiable. 5 minutes or less is non-negotiable. 60 seconds or less is exceptional. Here's the perfect intake process. Just an idea for you guys to think about. Everybody's going to set this up a little bit different, right? Not everyone's going to be the same. I don't want to tell you this is the perfect, only use this email at this time and this text message after this amount of time. Build the process that fits your flow. But initially it's a trigger, right? Website form, Facebook ad lead, an LSA ad, goes directly into your CRM or into your lead management system. SMS whisper call goes to your CSR that says, hey, there's a new web form lead, press 1 to connect, right? Or press any key to connect. They press a key, it does that outbound dial. That's that human connection in under 5 minutes. If they do not answer, a text message goes out to them, SMS right away. Qualify them, send the self-schedule link if needed, however you want to design this flow, right? However you want to design this flow. If there's no answer, then you could do a voicemail drop, you can do text messages, follow-up, automated follow-ups at 1 hour, 4 hours, 24 hours. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 10, hit them in. Now there's a great quote that I heard is customers are there's only 2 types of customers that are ready now or customers that will be ready in the future, right? So if they're not ready now, they're going to be ready in the future, sometime in the future. So keep in touch with them, stay on top of them, continue that nurture. And the farther you get away from the inquiry, I find that spacing it out helps. And then I like to drop people onto a long-term nurture sequence after it gets out a little ways, which may be like tips, maintenance tips for your roof, a newsletter, a community-based newsletter that talks about the community. So it's another touch point that happens. You could drop them into a long-term direct mail campaign. You could do a lot of different things. But it's complicated to set up maybe in the beginning, but get it set up. Take the time because the impact on your business is outrageous. So now how do we implement this and actually make sure that our team is executing on an ongoing basis? So the step 1 is the audit process. So start a weekly secret shopper exercise. designate someone on the team. It could be you if you're the owner. It could be a manager. Someone acts as a secret shopper weekly. They fill out your website form. They use a personal email. You could go and create a new Gmail for it or something like that. Find a phone number for it. And get this information. Make it, test how long it actually takes for someone to reach out back to you. Don't just test during business hours. Test after hours. Test on the weekend. Make sure that you're testing all of these things, and keep a log of submission times for accurate tracking. So you can log these in. And if you join the school community, you'll get access to this training and the audit tracking document that I'll share with you in a little bit. So again, click the link in the description for the school community, join that. We'll have that available for you there. Audit process step 2, time to response, right? So the second that you hit go on that form, submit on that form, hit that stopwatch. How long does it take someone to get back to you? I hope you are not disappointed, but I bet a lot of you will be. It's unfortunate, but this is the way it goes, man. Like, what we focus on expands and gets better, right? So if we put focus on this for the next quarter, for the next 6 months, for the next 12 months, and continuously improve this process, you're going to see a major impact in your business. The measurements are critical, right? If you're not measuring it, you really don't know. So step 3 is evaluate, right? Select 10 leads from the previous week that went in, like go into your CRM, pull 10 leads, look at the times that people called in, look at the time that if they submitted a form, look at the time there. Evaluate the exact timestamps of the lead creation, confirm the first time that they got contacted. Note the time of a first outbound human contact. Compare these against your target times. And so once you get this put together, you're going to be able to measure this, right? You're going to be able to see where the gaps are. You're going to be able to determine how to make those tweaks, how to make those iterations into this process. So let me see if I can pull this up for you quick. All right, this is the sheet that you'll have access to, and this is how it works. So the fields here that are in yellow have formulas in them. Don't edit those. Put in your average job value, your booking rate, your average booking rate from lead to booked appointment. Put in your average closing rate from your sales side. So let's say your average job is 20,000 and your average booking rate is 55% and your closing sales rate is 42%. Your team crushes it, right? In this example, we have an audit log here of 10 calls. They came, from which lead source, the time that it was submitted, time to first call, the response time. If it's less than 5 minutes or over 5 minutes, it's going to give it a pass or fail. And with that, it's going to come back here, and that's where you get this speed to lead accuracy and number of leads and things like that. This is going to break down your estimated monthly revenue and your monthly revenue leak, right? And then your annual revenue leak. So in this example, with only 10 leads and these stats, right? The annual revenue leak is $221,000, right? That's insane. Like, it doesn't take much, man. I'm telling you, pull on these levers. These are the levers that are the most impactful, that get overlooked all the time. So again, we just opened up this school community. We want to give you guys more. We actually did this when I owned Roofer Marketers. We had these sessions. We had Chuck Toki come in and do a training for our insiders. We had Adam Bensman come in and do a training for our insiders. Deshaun Bryant came in and did a session for our insiders. Rosalind Burgess came in and did a session. Heavy hitters, really great human beings. And we're gonna continue to. That's what we want to do here. We want to take the conversations that we're having on the podcast and turn them into actionable trainings for you and your team. Click the link in the description for the school community. Sign up. Get involved in the conversation. Come over there, share what your wins are, share the things that you're struggling with, and let's see if we can just, lift the community up even higher. Thanks for your time today. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Roofing Success Podcast. For more valuable content, visit roofingsuccesspodcast.com. While there, check out our sponsors for exclusive offers, shop for merchandise, and sign up for our newsletter for industry updates and tips. Also, join the Roofing Success Facebook group to connect with other professionals and stay updated on the latest trends. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue to bring you top industry insights. The website link is in the description. Thanks for listening.